Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Who Said What. I'm your host Krishna, and for those of you who are new here, let me quickly set up some context for what this show is about. See, the idea is that I'll pick the most interesting and juiciest comments from business leaders, fund managers, and the likes and contextualize things around them. Now, some of these names might not be familiar, but trust me, they are influential people, and what they say matters a lot because of their experience and background. So, I'll make sure to bring a mix. Some names you'll know, some you'll discover, and hopefully it'll give you a wide and useful perspective. Now, for all the sources mentioned in this video, don't forget to check out our newsletter. The link is in the description below. With that out of the way, let me get started. See, if you put Vishal Mega Mart, Bazaar Style and V2 Retail next to each other, the overlap in how they talk about consumer becomes quite obvious. Let's take this quarter's commentary for example. Vishal Mega Mart's management said this.
September quarter performance, the Q2 performance, was the fact that we got the benefit of Durga Puja festival, which is, as you know, a very popular festival in eastern India. And also, to a lesser extent, the benefit of Chhat Puja, which is, again, a popular festival in Bihar, East UP, etc.
So for them, Q2 looked stronger simply because Puja moved into September this year. Bazaar Style said the same thing but with more nuance.
So the fluctuation in Durga Puja leads to a variation in the sales in both Q2 and Q3. So if a sale of Puja is in Q3 only, so that time you will see the numbers matching with all the national retailers. Q2 will have a lower margin because of July and August being the end of season sale. But because the Puja shifted to September, and September then becomes a festival month for us, as a result, festival buying happens, and as a result, the gross margin on the festival buying is more compared to non-festival.
Now this is very specific to them because they're heavily concentrated in Bengal and Assam, and Puja timing literally decides which quarter looks good. And V2 Retail observed something too, apart from just the benefit of the festivals.
So we have seen our winter contribution increase from about 40% on the last year same day to almost 55%.
But the more interesting overlap shows up when they talk about their customer. See, all three end up describing a shopper who walks in with a very fixed budget, which is roughly 1,000 rupees, and almost everything they say fits inside that frame. Bazaar Style is one that says it the most directly.
We believe India's consumption story will be value retailer driven, and our proposition style for the entire day is ₹1,000 captures that essence perfectly.
Their average bill this quarter is around 1,000 rupees, which basically tells you the whole story. Vishal Mega Mart, on the other hand, sits slightly lower on that range, around 800 to 900 rupees a bill, but the behavior is identical. When someone asked whether the GST cut reduced how much people spend, the management said this.
So we anticipate one of the two scenarios, and most likely both will play out with different customers. One is folks who are going to buy more things from the store. So earlier, if they were buying 8 items per bill, they could buy 9, for example. The second thing also, which will inevitably happen, is that folks who are desirous of buying a more aspirational, higher price point product may find that it's become somewhat more affordable right now.
Now that's the customer. Add one more item, upgrade a little bit, but stay inside the same comfort zone. And then he added this line which just nails it.
In apparel, are only 1% of our revenue is impacted because, as you know, all products which are more than 1,000 rupees earlier were paying higher GST.
Where it does show up though is in the non-apparel stuff.
That number is significantly higher for general merchandise, where almost 34% of our revenue is positively impacted by GST reduction. And this includes categories like footwear, household, appliances, sports and toys, where the GST has moved to 5% from a range of 12 to 18%. And lastly, the largest impact would be on FMCG, where 50% of our FMCG revenue would be positively impacted by the GST reduction.
The other thing all three keep circling back to is private labels.
Every person who is coming, we want one article or two articles of private label in his or her hand so that they can understand the quality that we are working on.
Bazaar's management is the most blunt about it, and their aspiration is to reach 65% of the sales coming from private label by FY27. V2's version of the same idea sounds different, but the logic is identical. They're less worried about brand building and more worried about what happens if the bad designs sit too long on the shelves. Their CEO said this.
No other retailer puts their slow movers on discount within 2 weeks of introduction. So we have been able to get our more than 1 year old inventory from about 24% to less than 4% now.
Now that's their way of managing the inventory. And Vishal Megamart is already well ahead on this with roughly 3/4 of their business today is their own brands. And because of all of this, it's not surprising that value retailers are putting up a strong set of numbers again. The festive shift clearly helped footfalls in Q2. Private labels are getting picked up much faster than before, and the rural and semi-urban belts continue to pull their weight as more shoppers move from unorganized stores to these organized chains. None of the companies dress it up as anything big or dramatic, they're just responding to what the customer wants, and the customer hasn't really changed all that much. Now think about the time when your family last bought an AC. It was probably March or April, the summer months. That's the core problem of being in the AC business in India. Your product only exists in people's head when they're sweating. The moment the weather cools, you disappear. But your costs don't. Factories, workers, rent, electricity, loans, those run 12 months a year whether anyone buys an AC or not. As Blue Star's management says very plainly on the call, you cannot stop a factory, right? If you shut it, workers leave, machines sulk, suppliers drift away. So you keep manufacturing year-round, stacking boxes in warehouses, betting that the next summer will bail you out. Your bet is that the weather will be as bad next year. Last year, that trade worked beautifully because summer in 2024 was brutal. There was heat waves everywhere. People who had postponed buying for years finally gave in. So when Blue Star and Voltas sat down to plan 2025, the logic was simple. Last year was massive, this year should just be as good. They ramped up the production, filled warehouses and pushed stock aggressively to dealers. But things didn't go according to the plan, and it rained a little early. This meant that the temperature stayed tolerable and the need to buy an AC didn't creep in as much.
So it was a tough quarter. You're aware of the impacted summer season that continued through July.
But here's an important thing to understand. Q2 is always the weakest quarter of the year for ACs because it's monsoon season. Historically, the AC business has two real seasons. Q4 when dealers stock up before summer and Q1 when there's actual summer and customers rush to buy. So Q2 is usually slow. This Q2 though wasn't slow. It was lifeless because the government threw in a second curveball, that is GST.
Post that on August 15th we had the GST announcement. So practically from 15th of August till September 22nd, not only the room air conditioners business and also some part of or some segments of commercial air conditioning business were also impacted.
And of course, that impacted the sales of ACs because people who wanted to buy delayed their purchase. Meanwhile, inventory kept piling up. And this is where the real pain sits. Blue Star's management lays out the number in the bluntest way possible.
Our inventory level, based on the latest estimate as on date, is around 65 days of sale. Ideally, it should be only 45 days of sale. And I do not know the industry level, but I know the inventory levels are much higher than 65 days.
The MD of Volta says almost the same thing.
Between us and the channel partners, there's roughly 2 months of inventory.
Now this is crores of rupees stuck in boxes lying in company godowns in especially dealer shops. And dealers are small businessmen. Many buy stock using bank finance. They were counting on a hot summer to clear it. Instead, they're sitting on EMIs and cartons. The MD of Voltas actually says this out loud by describing that they try to help the dealers sell the stock.
And we have done everything possible to ensure by giving better sellout schemes like sometimes subsidized installation, better consumer finance schemes to them to help them sell out so that in no way they get stuck with the stock.
So they are sitting on unsold stock from a failed summer, their dealers are choked, Q2 was wiped out by GST timing and they will still have to start producing for next year. Then there's one more complication. The BEE energy label change coming on January 1, 2026. The threshold for what counts as 5-star is going up. The current 5-star models may no longer qualify. New 5-star designs will be pricier. Blue Star's management explains this customer side confusion beautifully.
The 5-star air conditioner, which is before 31st of December, and post 31st of December, there may be a 7 to 10% price increase. Of course, the new 5-star will be higher energy efficient, but the consumer will think that I am buying a 5-star air conditioner, which is a 5-star air conditioner of 2025.
There's a grace period though, where dealers can sell old label stock even after January. This creates a weird season in December. Dealers buy old 5-star units now and sell them in January to March at a price advantage. On the year ahead, Blue Star is brutally honest.
If we close the year with industry being flat, we being flat, we should be very happy. I don't think we will be able to grow over the previous year at all, given that it was a huge growth year. And it is also probable that the industry ends up with minus 15% over last year.
Voltas, on the other hand, takes a softer line.
Whenever we see that the first half of the year, the purchases have not been made, we see that the demand is not destroyed or destructed. We believe that the demand is deferred.
But the best line in all of this is Blue Star's management.
As I keep telling, it is all that Duckworth-Lewis method. So we don't know how many overs are left or what is the asking rate, and so rain keeps interrupting on one side.
Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Vishal Mega Mart's management said this. Vishal Mega Mart's management Q2 looked stronger simply because Puja moved into September. Concentrated in Bengal and Assam. Because they're heavily concentrated in Bengal, West Bengal, na?